I had everything. I created everything I thought I wanted. A career, really great money. I had the house I wanted. I was building the family I wanted. Everything from outside was saying success, external validation and all that. But I knew I was deeply unfulfilled. If you want to climb the Everest, you're not going to jump there in one step, right? You have to make 1% every day. The compound results of 1% every day there's a formula actually. It says, at the end of the year, you're going to be 37 times in a better position than today. It's 1%, one single decision, one single action every day. Just trust yourself and take that step.
Stefania Massenz, the founder of SM Coaching, is a professional career development coach, a mother of two,
and a world-leading expert on the subject of burnout, with a thriving sales career in London with global IT corporations like Salesforce, Tableau, and Gartner. Stefania was in the top 1% of UK earners. She will tell you how burnout, self-doubt, and the daunting leap parents into the unknown and what to do about it.
Burnout doesn't happen from doing too much, but it happens from doing too much of something that doesn't matter for you. So it really forced me to stop and to ask myself, what does success really means to me?
Talking about comfort zones, being in the top 5% of earners in the UK, how hard was it to leave this zone?
So fear is normal, but regret, for instance, is not something that's temporary. Instead of saying, what if I fall? Why don't you just say, what if I fly?
There was something unknown coming. How was your role as a mom?
Well, yeah, becoming a mom is probably the biggest unknown ever. There's a lot shifting there, your own values, your priority. It was beautiful and amazing, but it was not.
Great, Stefania. Welcome to Parents Are Chameleons. I'm super happy that we have you with us today. And even more surprised and excited because you and I have something in common. And I think you know what?
What have we got in common?
We work for the same company. So that's what we that's what we have in common. And I'm super excited because for someone who was part of the Salesforce world and the Tableau world and knowing all these beautiful what's the name of the world of Salesforce? Was it Dream World, Dreamforce?
Team Force, maybe.
I think
God, if they hear us saying that, they're probably gonna shoot us off. It was Team Force or Dream Force, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I remember
Why
the
don't we
big
just leave it like
conference.
that? It
Yeah,
was all about dreams
exactly.
and
But
teams.
it's great to see someone from exactly this world
Yeah.
now here, talking about parenthood and modern parent challenges and all these things that are top of mind, I think, for a lot of people out there. For me, it's also very interesting because you have a very interesting personal story to share, and especially from a transformation point of view. I mean, being someone who was a top performer in such big companies in the world of tech sales, which is also a high pressure working environment, and then pivoting all the way to even becoming now a coach, and
Yeah.
in all that time also becoming a mother. It's a long story. So, but if we now would change the perspectives and imagine you as this 16 years ago and this young girl from Italy kicking off the journey and now taking a look on Stefania from today, how would she think about your story and all the journey you had?
Yeah. 16 years ago, yeah, I left Italy as it's been definitely a journey. So if she was looking at me right now, at what she accomplished, what I think the first reaction would probably be surprise because she always knew that she had something about her, that she could do something, but I don't think that she could fully believe that she was able to transform her dreams into reality. So and create the life that she really wanted. So surprised to start with, but then I think she would be really proud because she would notice how really every single challenge, every single opportunity, every single time she could get out of a comfort zone, she just embraced it and she did it. And also she would be fascinated because it's really interesting how her drivers changed when she left 16 years ago. She was just moved by desire of growth, of adventure. Then she moved into climbing a corporate career to prove herself that she could do that, that she had the ambition and what it takes to do that at that level. And then all of a sudden understanding what really matters to her. So completely realigning herself to her value, to her purpose. So creating something that's meaningful for her. So seeing the, how the drive has changed is, I think it would be really interesting for her. But overall, I think she would give herself a big high five. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think she would be happy to know what's coming. If she was seeing it the future back then.
that's beautiful, and that's a very good sign. I don't know how many people can say something like that about their journey so far,
Mm,
but that's very good that you have the ability. Also taking in consideration that your journey also had these kind of more challenging situations on a private level, and I would also like to go into that direction because one of the things that is top of mind for you today is also to talk
mm,
about freely and publicly talk about. Um, the let's call it the price of being a super
mm.
successful person all the time,
Super
which
successful, yeah, to to be successful, to try it and push for more and more. But yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Go on.
yeah, exactly. But I mean that was already the direction. So if we could just can name it, the name, how do we say, the elephant in the room, with this burnout,
Burnout.
something that I think also shaped your life,
Yeah.
but also somehow gave you this kind of new North Star of, hey, this is
Yes.
something I would like to talk about. So can you just maybe give us a overall framework? How what is the story, and how what is your goal or mission around these kind of burnout
Mm.
topic in general? How did it
Yeah.
came
So
to?
yeah. Well, thank you for asking about the elephant in the room. It's something that for me is very important to talk about with my client. It's something I experienced 3 years ago, and as you say, it shaped my life. If I could go back, I would probably find ways to avoid such a brutal way to experience it because it was really intense. But it really forced me to stop and think. So burnout is something that, first of all, sorry, let me step back. I had everything. I created everything I thought I wanted. A career, really great money. I had the house I wanted. I was building the family I wanted. Everything from outside was saying success, external validation, and all that. But I knew I was deeply unfulfilled. So, what I did realized, looking at what I had, what I was doing, is that burnout, once I had the burnout doesn't happen from doing too much of something, but it happens from doing too much of something that doesn't matter for you. So it really forced me to stop and to ask myself, what does success really means to me? Not for others, not for society, but to me. And so at that point, I kind of reframed everything. I understood success for me was being aligned to myself, having a purpose that was clear to me, living my values, make an impact that was meaningful for others as well. So I think that sometimes the very brave thing to do is just to say, this, this is enough for me. Doesn't mean settling for something that is not, great for yourself. Doesn't mean settling. It means understanding where to stop to avoid getting into a sort of hedonic treadmill where you keep pushing for the next thing to prove something, and then there's a next thing, and it never gonna end. So yeah, so for me it was a great catalyst for change, but I wouldn't necessarily wish this to happen to everybody in this, in the same way that happened to me. And that's what I'm hopefully helping people to do nowadays, to just notice when it's coming or notice the signs and prevent, getting to that point. Yeah.
Which is a very great mission, I think, which also deserves a lot of appreciation. We need more people of in that are educating and talking about exactly these topics. Because I honestly, just talking about statistics, and including these statistics only on parents, and we all know parents being just a parent is also a full-time job nowadays,
Yeah.
involving moms and dads in same amounts more and more. But it's challenging to try to get everything under one hat, how we like to say in Germany. And I think that a lot of people out there are already struggling with something like this,
Mm-hmm.
asking themselves already the same questions that you asked yourself as well. Is this something that makes me happy? Is it the purpose of my life, maybe? And challenging the status quo, and then changing perspectives and trying to see new paths. So, how hard was this change of perspective for you? I mean, talking about comfort zones, being in the top 5% of earners in the UK, and then changing perspectives, changing everything, isn't a, an easy lift, I would say.
Um, so the question is, can you reframe the question?
How hard was this transformation for you? From, let's call it this, it's not a comfort zone. It's something like this setup that you've been trained on for years to be part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that somehow, let's call it, smoothen down the pain of being not really happy with, let's call it, a lot of financial security. How hard was it to leave this zone and to change the perspective, to come to the conclusion that something needs to change?
I mean, it was, again, it came really it came really intensely and really unexpected. But once then I had the chance to stop and understand and ask myself what really matters to me. It was about trusting yourself, trusting your instinct, about, yeah, as you say, get out of your comfort zone, about understanding, creating a vision for myself. That's the most important thing. Earlier you talk about North Star. When you have a vision, even if it's not very specific or full of details when you start off with that, having a vision, understanding where you're going, that's a fundamental. So that was the first thing for me to understand, realigning myself, understanding who I am, what it meant to me to be authentic, to live my values on a daily basis, and to follow a purpose. So that's the first thing you need to do, like having the vision and aligning yourself. And at that point, there's lots of fears, there's lots of beliefs, there's lots of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. There's lots of thinking that you need to be confident to actually make the first step, but that's not the case. What needs to happen is you need to listen to yourself, to listen to your body. We got an incredibly powerful and very advanced internal GPS that tells us a lot about what is good for us in terms of physical sensations, emotions,
Hmm.
intuitions, wisdom. If we cut out the noise and we start really listening to what that signals are, to what the GPS is telling us, life is kind of, I don't know how to say, but it's kind of getting into the right path on its own naturally. But what is important is to make that first step, because if you let all that fears, all that self-doubts, all that narrative, all the stories that you tell yourself, if you let them stop you, you're never gonna jump out of your comfort zone. But if you see like jumping into an unknown as an adventure, as a chance to learn, if you don't see the chance, or the how do you say, sorry, the chance that you may fail or you may have setbacks, if you don't see that as something to stop you, you can just take as a gift, an opportunity to learn, to move to the next step. So it's about trusting your instinct, trusting in yourself with one choice, with one decision today, and build that muscle of self-belief over time. So take a step, learn from it, compare yourself not to others, but compare yourself to who you were yesterday. How did you improve? How did you progress compared to yesterday? Celebrate every single step you made, because if you want to climb the Everest, you're not going to jump there in one step, right? You have to make one 1% every day. And like that, the compound results of 1% every day there's a formula actually. It says, at the end of the year, you're going to be 37 times in a better position than today. But it's 1%, one single decision, one single action every day. Just trust yourself and take that step, because without action, you don't build confidence, even if it's an imperfect action. But just move.
Mm.
I hope we answered your question.
Absolutely. So theoretically, what you also said is that there have been a lot of signals down the way that you recognize, okay, something is not good, and in general that your call to action to anyone is listen to these signals and
Mm-hmm.
use them in the end, and use these feelings as a catalyst to get out
Yeah.
there. And that's an interesting point to take out, because just a couple of days ago we had a very interesting conversation with a lady from the education space, And she also, in a nutshell, just explained to me our brains are super lazy. So, and understanding that you need to change something, which is maybe your professional career that took so many years of you, our brain knows this is a lot of work. This will be a lot of work for me. So we're just putting us in these comfort zones, which means that we are then starting to fill ourselves with these emotions and not letting them out because something in our head is blocking us from these huge amount of work, this Mount Everest that is now building up. And yeah, in a nutshell, I just wanted to say, I think it's a good catalyst to get these emotions, and you need to use the energy because the path will be long, and it will take some time to reach the peak that you need to reach to see the rest of the valley in front of you. One thing that also came to me now, I mean, how long is it ago that you left the corporate space?
Well, I only left the corporate officially 2 years ago,
Okay.
a bit less than 2 years ago. Yeah.
And would
My
you go
burnout
back?
was three
Would
years
you go back
ago.
to the grid, to the corporate
I
world?
wouldn't go back. No, no, I wouldn't go back. I mean, there are things that I miss about that, but I know that in the medium long term, I will go back into the corporate, obviously with a different role, to more officially to support people. But what I'm missing is that the connection and the relationship, and both with my colleagues and with my clients. But what I'm missing really is that kind of initial excitement, that initial bond that you create around the excitement that the company injects in you, because those companies are great at making you feel high and like you're on top of the world, and they keep kind of pushing stuff at you to say, oh my god, how lucky I am, and that creates a bond. But that's before did you call it the grind, sorry. That's before that reality sets in, right? And that hustle culture, that always pushing and pushing and doing, that's not sustainable for many in the long term. And what I do miss, creating those type of relationship, progressing in a meaningful way, or at least I was trying back then. That's what I carried with me, and that's what I'm actually expanding on with coaching. So, I've not lost anything, but no, I wouldn't go back as a salesperson if that's what you're asking. No.
Yeah, that was the question. Also because I mean, I did exactly the same step 1 year ago now. And but to be frank, I was playing with these kind of thoughts for many years, and many years I was asking myself, what could be these things that can somehow compensate these, as you said, this somehow nice corporate world that can create this bubble of, hey, everything can be nice, and you get a lot of awareness, and you get a lot of, I don't know, recognition, the connection, the bonding with people, with everything. So what can compensate it? And you also mentioned it's the mission. You need to find the mission. You need to see something that will bring impact. If this is the focus that you have. So what I recognize in the time now, after finally unplugging myself from the corporate, was that my entire family behavior and energies and synergies and energy flows have changed. So how have you experienced these transition on from a family point of
Family energy altogether.
view? Everything.
Um, well, I'll start with the energy, because I think that's something that before I never been intentional about, and the biggest shift has been actually becoming intentional. Preventing your battery to run out completely is really, really important. So understanding that there's a good book about this I'm going to mention in a second, but to be engaged, to be performing at your best, to be always there, at the top of your game, we need to be consistently physically energized, mentally focused, spiritually aligned, and emotionally connected. And this book is called The Powerful Engagement by Tony Schwartz. Um, there are these 4 levels, and if that the energy need to be maintained, and if any of these kind of is not taken care of, the whole castle crumbles. Okay, so what do you eat? How do you sleep? Have you got a routine for yourself to actually sleep? Do you work out to re-energize your body? when I say spiritual, I mean simply aligned to your values and to your purpose and to your vision. So do you know where you're going? Have you got a compass to keep, making sure that you're going in the right direction? Emotionally and mentally, are you taking the time during your day, during your week to do things that you like to do? Listen to a piece of music, building something, making a draw, whatever it is that actually feeds your soul. Are you doing that? Are you connecting to people? Are you spending some time in nature? Are you taking some breaks to kind of re-energize yourself? So we need to for every bit of energy that we expend, we need to renew the same amount of energy. So that's a fundamental thing to kind of stay on top of your game and stay and be present. And so that's what I learned. And that included, the overall kind of family flow, as you say, because it's important. Yeah, it's important. The family is anyway part of what feeds your soul, is part of what gives you energy. There are things also with two young kids. It's not always easy, it takes lots of energy. But then what can you do proactively and intentionally to make that an opportunity to give to get energy? You can, for instance, for me, um every morning, I would like to start working at 7 because I'm building my own business. I need to improve. I need to do 1 million things every day, but we got the kids to send to school, obviously, to taken care of in the morning. One thing that I intentionally started to do is, instead of thinking, oh my god, let's make this quick so then I can start working, not be present. Try to be present in that moment, and embrace that magic and very temporary opportunity I have to get my kids ready. In 2 years' time, they will be ready doing by themselves. So be present, even if your mind wants to be focusing on what comes after when you start working. Be there. Just um, cultivate that relationship. Take the time you need to spend with your partner, with your children, to just even with yourself. So it's a kind of, as you say, it's a flow that needs to be managed with the family and within yourself. So how do you call it? A bubble of energy, maybe.
I mean, if I listen to this, it sounds like nothing big, nothing too much demanding, right? To stay focused, to only be there for them, but also, as you talked about the energy part in the beginning, to just give yourself the same amount of energy back that you needed to
Yeah.
do things. So me time, however you spend the me time in the end to recharge. So, but what do you think? Why is it so hard for so many people to just get it somehow working out for them? Because I really think that people maybe are aware of that. Oh, I need to do something for myself, but are really finding so much challenge to cross this barrier of just doing it.
Of self-care. Yeah, I mean, yes, I think because of the culture we're in, especially in high demanding roles, as I said earlier, you want to do more and more and more. You want to prove that you're there, that you're ambitious, that you want to be successful, right? It's like it becomes a virtuous thing to run yourself into the ground. I don't know. It's like a symptom of a very bad narrative that, going back to burnout as well, that burnout or really completely exhausting your energy is something good, is a proof that you can do it, you're able to do it. But it's not, it's just very detrimental for us. So it's difficult because people want to prove to themselves and to others that they can keep doing more and more and more and better and better and better, and they climb more. And as you said earlier, our brain is lazy. It's more like that. It's comfortable where it is. Stretching yourself for growth is difficult because you have to take yourself somewhere that you're not used to do. For me, the hardest thing is always been and still is to slow down and to avoid becoming overwhelmed. And this is maybe same for many. So that's why intentionally I try to be present. Intentionally, I take myself for a walk outside in nature. What I think is really a really good trick is to put these things as part, like as slots in your calendar, as if they were part of your job. Instead of putting a meeting in your calendar, put like that 30 minutes to go out for a walk and do it, stick to it. make a connection. Your lunch break, don't spend it in front of the computer. Go and spend it with a friend to actually talk about, whatever you need to talk about to create the connection. Spend that time to, to do something that really is positive for you, that gives you energy, and you feel it because of the GPS I mentioned earlier. You do know what gives you energy and what takes you off. You do know what's good for you. So again, going back on that, trust yourself with one intuition every time. Just if your body's telling you is good for you or is not good for you, trust it. If it feels expansive rather than contracted, trust it. If you feel drawn to something rather than pushed away, trust it. But put every single action in your calendar as if they were part of your job. I think that's a good trick to kind of start creating the habits and do what you need to do to renew your energy.
Absolutely. So I love the self-care habits that you have shared with us, and these kind of hacks how to manage your own energy level the right way. But also very often, I mean, it's also a fact that still, even if you do this, these habits can make it a lot of things easier for let's call it from an energy point of view. But if you're running in this kind of emotional hole, this trap of okay, I don't know, I manage my energies, but I still don't feel happy about, let's say it, my job, my career, whatever. um, a lot of people will, even with all these habits, not be able to navigate out to, I don't know, they will see the compass and they will see the direction, but they will still feel trapped to move out because they will have fear to make the first steps. I mean, is there a way how you think people could navigate these fears?
Well, it's never going to be easy, but so fear is a fundamental response, is a natural response to something new, right? Fear has got a survival origin. So to tell us that it's dangerous, something is dangerous, that our life is, at risk. But obviously that's the survival instinct we have. But so fear is normal, but let's say regret, for instance, is not something that is temporary as fear. If you choose to not do something now because you believe you cannot do it, because your own stories, what you tell yourself, are like stopping you, or because you fear of, I don't know, losing financial freedom, which are all really good points. We all have them. But if you make this fear stopping your action and you don't do something, ask yourself, where are you going to be like in 20 years time? Not even in 5 years time. What if nothing has changed compared to where you are now, right? So fear, I just acknowledge the fear because it's there for a reason, but then just make that one step. Again, is that first step that you have to make to start building the confidence. Nobody starts something new with confidence. Confidence is not a prerequisite. Confidence is a result of doing, imperfectly doing. So once you have understood what your values are, once you created a vision for yourself, so you know in which direction you're going, then again, as I was saying earlier, just make the first step. Trust yourself with that one. Take every single setback as an opportunity to learn and do something different. Celebrate every single the smallest win that you achieve every day. Celebrate, because that's going to give you the energy, the resilience. It's going to literally build hormones in your body that will keep carrying you, pushing you forward, right? So it's just about doing it. It's just about seeing the fear with a good intention that fear is there for us, but then say, okay, now I'm gonna work anyway. You're gonna have setbacks, you're gonna have failures, but they're just part of the path. You can just, building confidence doesn't mean thinking that you're never gonna fail, because or having setbacks, because that's just impossible not to face it. So
This was already the perfect quote to advertise for Nike. Just do it.
just do it. No, but yeah, it is because if you do that step today,
Yeah,
tomorrow it will be easier, it will look easier, and you will have built more confidence, and you will have built a muscle of self-belief, and you will just keep doing it once
exactly.
1% every time. That's all it takes.
But I mean, what I also recognize, easily for me to recognize, because I was in the same shoes when working in tech sales. is that you have these fundamental understanding of setbacks are absolutely okay. So they're nothing negative. They're just something that helps you to grow again and close something that you maybe haven't done right in the past. It's and that's exactly the definition of growth. So closing things that you haven't done good and then moving on with better knowledge, with better preparation, more defense, more offense, everything in combination. So life has coached you in a way through this career,
Yes.
and
Yes.
sales in general is a very hard environment to grow
Mm.
because it's a high pressure environment. um how would you see these experience that you had in the textiles industry now helping you to pivot into the coaching space?
What I did learn in sales and what I'm carrying into coaching, what helped me is, first of all, relationship is all that matters. It matters more than any deal, any target that you close. Building that relationship, understanding what your clients back in sales really need, what the root cause of problems is, what kind of solution you can present that can serve them. So creating that relationship back then and now in coaching as well, is I've been taking it 100% as one of the most important things, because creating the relation with my clients now, building that trust, building that rapport where they can feel safe to open up, to kind of share their thoughts, to find their own answers, to find their own solution. So that was fundamental. Then, as you said, setbacks, resilience, something that sales really teaches is resilience. I don't think you can get as many no's as in a sales role, right? But the more no's you get, the closer you are to your yes. So not taking anything personally, keep learning, keep trying, keep changing approach, keep trying to find the way that works for you and for the clients. So relationship, resilience, adaptability. There's no deal, there's no client, there's no sales cycle that is the same. And it's the same obviously with coaching clients. Every person comes with a different way to communicate, a different way to experience things. So it's really important, and it's really good that I learning from sales to adapt to every person's style of communication, to be able to make them feel comfortable. And also an important thing that sales taught me is what I didn't want, and that was the way for me to align myself to what I wanted. So for instance, I wanted deep, meaningful relationship, but in sales, in the type of role I had, there were lots of transactional conversation, transactional relationship. I was building a relationship, and then I had to move on to the next one. Okay, maybe I spent 2 years building a relationship with a client, and then territory changed completely. And then for me, that was a little shock every time, because for me that was important. And I wanted to express my individuality, but sales was kind of keeping me in sort of strict, kind of rigid structures. I wanted balance, but then the hustle culture doesn't really allow you to keep that much balance until you learn how to do it by yourself. But there were different things that I really learned I didn't want anymore, and so pushed me to look for. So, for today, for me, success is, again, keeping that balance so I can thrive rather than survive, creating that meaningful conversation, meaningful relationship, and just doing something meaningful. So I kind of learned my values back then and being able to carry them into my new path. Yeah.
To create your new life,
Create my new life. Yeah.
which is also the segue into the next question that I have. What I wanted to say is, how was the journey for you when you started to set your sails into this unknown new life?
It was scary. Still is, because I only started my it still is. I only started this like a couple of years ago, but I think it will always be, because every time you have a chance to grow or to make the next step is unknown, right? So I don't think it's something that you kind of drop, but unknown doesn't have to be a negative thing. If I'm on the edge of a cliff, sometimes it just takes a mindset shift. Okay, instead of saying what if I fall, why don't you just say, what if I fly? What if I fly? I mean, imagine just seeing like that. What if I just jump and I see I've got wings? How do you know unless you jump, right? Obviously, you're not jumping down the cliff for real. So there's always we know where magic happens. Magic doesn't happen where you are if you stay exactly where you are. That's magic doesn't happen in your comfort zone. So while you make the next move, you can clearly understand what's stopping you. And that's great, because as soon as you have a limiting belief stopping you, you can acknowledge it and you can challenge it and you can dissolve it. And that's, and so it is scary, but you don't let the fear stopping you. You just keep, you keep trying one extra step. You keep going in the right direction. Ask for support. Find a mentor, find a coach, find whoever can amplify that voice you got inside that tells you you meant to go in that direction. Find someone that root for you. Build your own. It's a good, this is a good kind of metaphor. Build your own board of directors. Someone that, no matter where you are, no matter how much you're doubting yourself, someone that keeps telling you, no, you're gonna be there. You're gonna do that. You have what it takes. Show you your limiting beliefs. They're nothing real. It's just what you're telling yourself, because you used to tell yourself that. So it is scary, yes, but just do it.
Just do it
Just do it,
again.
because just do it again. Because again, if you were having a conversation with your 8 years old right now, what would that person be proud of? That you moved and fall and failed and learned and stood up again, or that you just stayed where you are? Think
Hmm.
about that. It can, think about that. Have a conversation with your 8 years old self.
And I mean, just to bridge the situation and these contexts also a bit to the not direct career point of life, which is also the, let's call it, your role as a mom. There was also a phase where there was something unknown coming. So the change to becoming a first-time mom, and then I think you also moved back to Korea. Some was soon, like all of us. I think my wife also did not had a lot of time in the direct role as a mom, and I also had just a couple of weeks as a parental leave, and that's it. So, how was the transition back then for you? I mean, into this unknown in combination with this career, and how have maybe also the experience that you already gathered during the career? How has it helped you to navigate through this unknown?
Well, yeah, becoming a mom is probably the biggest unknown ever. No, um,
Yeah.
that happened a couple of years before my career changed. But again, yeah, also becoming a mom, actually, there's a lot shifting there. Your own values, your priorities, the sense of yourself. That took a while, actually. I took a while to make sense of all that. It was beautiful and amazing, but it was not always easy. But again, I think taking day by day and learning what you can learn about yourself and about the new situation, learn day by day,
Hmm.
building that tools, the skills, the strengths that you need, and using them to kind of moving forward. Also, you have two little things to take care of. You cannot just kind of emptying your cup, because otherwise you cannot, help them to
Exactly. There
fill
will
their
be a
own
lack of
cups.
energy for them. Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the lesson is, don't see setbacks or fears or struggles as a failure. Just learn what you can from that, and take it and use the new resources you have to, to move to what the next step is to be.
Which is already going to slowly to the closing of our podcast today, because I mean, in we have a lot of female listeners in this podcast, many of them women, but in general also moms. And I mean, your life is a testament of how to balance a lot of different things, how to redefine yourself, and to do this kind of metamorphosis, to become something new, um, something happier, and maybe greater and more motivated with a new direction.
Oh, for
So
sure, yeah.
now, if you think about all these moms that are listening to you, you will not see them, but they will see you. What would be the piece of advice that you would like to share with?
I speak to a lot of women. I don't only work with women, but majority of my clients are women. And what I'm noticing is, we may be conditioned to think certain things. For instance, perfectionism is good. If you don't do everything perfect, then you're not worthy or you're not good enough. Imposter syndrome. The more successful, the more women prove themselves and prove to the world that they can do, the least or the less they actually feel they have the right to sit at a certain table. Focusing a lot on the task that they have, like their daily job, again, to make sure that they do it really in the right way, rather than focusing on the long term, bigger picture where they want to go. Not wanting to make too much noise when it comes to their own achievement. They reach amazing things and then they don't say anything. They don't want to take space. They don't want to make to be too loud. So the advice I say is just own your own achievement. If you're amazing and you're proving it every day, just say out loud, ask for what you think you deserve, because it's very unlikely that no matter how amazingly how you work and how good of a job you do, you believe that you're gonna be recognized. Probably not. Ask for it. It may come, but it may not come. Most of the time, lots of people are frustrated and unsatisfied because their effort is not recognized. But do you actually ask? So make noise. Put yourself out there, take the space that you deserve, and focus on the bigger picture. And again, surround yourself with people that keep reminding you how amazing you are, what a great job you're doing. Because you're going to have self-belief. We are too conditioned to have self-beliefs, to not have self-belief, or to have self-doubt. So always have someone that reminds you what you're capable of. So yeah, I would say just step up for yourself, really.
Fully agree. Because I also think personally, it doesn't matter if mom or dad. The only thing that matters is do what you need to do to become happy. Because in
Because
the end,
then,
they will have a happy dad. They will have a happy mom, and that's what
exactly, I
kids
was going to
need.
say the
There
same
is
thing.
no value in having a mom that is having a lot of time with the kids, but that is depressed and not happy. So
No, no,
that's what
exactly.
they will
Yeah,
feel and they will see it. And that's, I think, exactly what you also came to a conclusion. Try to
yeah.
become the best, happiest version of yourself. Raise your
That's
voice.
very true. Yeah, you're the best role model, for your children. If you dread Monday because whatever's happening at work, then they're gonna learn that work is a thing to dread. Yeah.
So I would say, do you have any open questions from your side that you would like to drop here, or any last hack that you would like to share with the community? Because I came through it. I'm super happy. There was a lot of great value that you shared with me
Mm.
and everyone else.
Well, there's what comes to my mind is a like closing thoughts. You with Mello and your world of dreams. You probably heard of the hero's journey from Joseph Campbell. It's a framework from transformation. It's called the hero journey. You're gonna check it. And it's a framework that you find in movies like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Matrix and Harry Potter. So it's about a person, a regular person, an ordinary person living his ordinary life, and all of a sudden he gets a call. He feels a call for adventure. Yeah. At first he's a bit doubtful, but then he jump into it, and then he's gonna find goblins and monster and struggles and self doubt. But also, he's gonna find mentors and he's gonna learn lessons and he's gonna realize that he's got like an inner strength he didn't have a clue about. And then this hero in the journey goes back to his normal life, but it's never going to be the same. He's going to be wiser and he's going to be stronger and he's going to be a completely different person. So, my closing advice is just, be the hero of your own journey, because there's nothing better that you can do than bet on yourself and put yourself into the unknown and see what is out there in that magic kingdom, let's say, that is waiting for you, and is going to make you a completely different person, the best possible version of yourself. So just just again, just do it.
For the last part for the day, can everyone be a hero?
Everybody is a hero. Everybody is a hero. So
That's a
yes, they can
perfect.
they can act like one. Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
perfect ending of today. So everyone
Yes.
is the hero.
Yeah.
Great. Stefania, I fully appreciate your time today with us. You're currently building up your coaching life, how can people find you? Just maybe as a last hook, also to give yourself a little bit spotlight with this podcast. So who should come to you, and how can they find you?
Who should come to me? I mean, everybody in a high demanding job, or that they perceive a high demanding job where they struggle to have balance, to find balance, they struggle with fulfillment because there's no motivation. They don't feel they don't feel they're having the impact they want. And they maybe they're considering options, different roles, different careers, completely different life, whatever it is. They have fears. They don't know what's next. They fear the unknown. So these are the people I help, because this is who I was 4 years ago, right? So I know that. I've been there. How they can find me on LinkedIn, Stefania Massenz, and that's where at the moment I'm available for people. Yeah.
Okay. For
Yeah.
security reasons, we'll put a hyperlink to your profile when we post
Yes.
this video on LinkedIn,
Yes.
so that
Okay.
everyone can find you easily.
Yeah.
Stefania, again, it was a pleasure. Best of
My
luck
pleasure.
for your hero story now. Stay
Thank you.
brave. We are watching. I'm watching for a lot of new great content from you, with a lot
Yeah.
of motivation, and looking forward to cross paths again.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. It's been really, really nice. And yeah, be your hero.
Speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.